All right, today we're going to dig into something really fascinating. It's a short but super powerful manifesto from an independent publisher called CrankyBooks. It gives us this incredible look into the philosophy of deliberately choosing to do things the hard way in the creative world.
So right out of the gate, the manifesto hits you with this one simple but heavy sentence. CrankyBooks was created deliberately. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a last resort, it was a choice made with absolute purpose. And that one word, deliberately, well, it changes everything. It sets the tone for the whole philosophy.
And that immediately makes you wonder, right? I mean, why would you choose the harder path? The traditional publishing world is there for a reason. It's got the money, the connections, the well-worn path to follow. So why go off-road? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is all about the work itself.
So the first piece of this puzzle is all about the kind of books they wanted to put out into the world. And these weren't your typical, easy-to-categorize titles you'd find neatly stacked in a bookstore. They were something else entirely.
CrankyBooks is all about what you could call misfit books. You know the ones I'm talking about, the books that kind of make you scratch your head and wonder, okay, where does this go? They don't fit into a neat little box. And you know what? That's exactly the point. That's their power.
And what's really cool is that their books don't just pick one of these labels. Nope, they kind of dance around in the spaces between them. Just try to imagine a book that's one part hilarious satire, one part deeply personal memoir, but also somehow gives you real practical advice. That's the weird, wonderful territory they operate in.
But look, this isn't just about mashing up genres for the fun of it. It's actually way deeper than that. It's about protecting a very specific kind of voice. A voice that has a real point of view, one that isn't afraid to be a little challenging, maybe even a little unruly.
And this is why being independent is so crucial for them. It's all about avoiding the need to sand off the edges. In the traditional system, there's often this gentle pressure to make a book more palatable, to fit a trend or to soften its message for a wider audience. CrankyBooks was basically built from the ground up to be a fortress against that very idea.
Okay, so this brings us to the real-world advantages of going their own way. This wasn't just some artsy, philosophical decision. It gave them some serious firepower, key advantages they needed to protect those unruly books we were just talking about. Let's break a few down.
Yeah, this chart lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have the traditional path, where you've got to satisfy market briefs and chase whatever's trendy. But the CrankyBooks way, it's all about total creative control, getting things out there fast and having the freedom to just try stuff. And accountability, it's not spread out over a huge team, it's laser-focused right on the creator. And that leads to this idea of just complete and total ownership. As they say, if something works, that's on us. When a book finds its audience and really takes off, that victory belongs to them and them alone. They made the calls, they took the leap, and they get the credit.
But, and this is the really powerful part, the flip side is just as true. If a book completely flops, if an idea just doesn't connect, that's on them too. There's nowhere to hide, no one else to point the finger at. And honestly, embracing that level of accountability, that takes some serious creative courage.
Now, it's super important to understand they're not trying to start a war with the big publishing houses. Not at all. They're just saying, look, traditional publishing is a tool, a great tool for some things, but it just wasn't the right tool for this very specific, very edgy kind of project.
So let's put it all together now. We have these misfit books, this intense need for control, this radical accountability. So what's the big idea? What's the ultimate vision that ties this all together?
And here it is. This is the absolute heart of their entire mission. The whole structure, all the choices, it's all designed for one single purpose, to let the books be exactly what they're meant to be. No compromise. No sanding off the edges to make it more commercial. Just the pure, raw, unfiltered creative idea.
And man, this final line from their manifesto just nails it. It perfectly sums up the spirit of the work they're trying to protect. A voice that is unapologetically direct, fundamentally human, proudly a little bit cranky, and, this is the key, totally unconcerned with asking permission.
So in the end, this whole CrankyBooks Manifesto, it isn't really just about publishing, is it? It's a challenge. It's a question for all of us, no matter what we do. It leaves you with this one big, kind of scary thought. What would you create if you just stopped waiting for someone else to tell you it was okay? What amazing, unruly ideas are you holding back, just waiting for permission?